Okay, so we will be discussing about this Magnacarta of patients' rights and obligations. Okay, so what have you found out regarding this Magna Carta based on research? Anong nakita nyo or anong natuklasan nyo? Any volunteer who wants to share? Okay, so the Magna Carta of Patients' Rights and Obligations has been around for several years in the Congress, in the Philippine Congress. And the latest status of this Magna Carta was it was approved in the third reading, was approved in the third reading in the committee level in the 17th Congress. So ano na ba ngayon? 18th Congress na ngayon. So 17th Congress, meaning uh, natabunan na siya. Natabunan na uli siya ng mga batas. Kasi hindi siya nag-elevate into a Republic Act. Nanatili siyang bill. Okay? The last author or sponsor, the last sponsor of this Magna Carta of Patients' Rights and Obligation ay sino? Si ex-senator, yes, GBX ito. The same lawmaker that passed that sponsored the Universal Health Law. Okay? So, ano bang nilalaman ng Magna Carta na to? Siyempre, nakalagay na, di ba? Patients' rights and obligations. Pero hindi lang yun. If you will read through the bill thoroughly, you will notice that there is another set of rights. That is the patient societal rights. Okay, and number one to the societal rights is right to health. So yun yung number one. Okay. So ano ang napansin nyo doon sa rights na nakalista dito sa Magna Carta compared doon sa uh, mga Bill of Rights na makikita nyo either sa book or sa mga hospitals? Ano yung napansin nyo? Or may napansin pa kayo? Baka naman wala. Baka tiningnan nyo lang, ito yung author, ganitong taon, approved na. Baka hanggang ganun lang. So what did you notice about the Magna Carta of Patients' Rights and Obligations? Well, first, regarding the patient's rights, ano yung kapansin-pansin? Anyone who wish to answer? Wala, silent committee pa rin. Mga member ng silent committee. Okay. So, in my observation, the patient rights stipulated in this Magnacarta ay kinopya lang doon sa uh, Bill of Rights, Patients Bill of Rights from the US. Okay? So ano ba yung una? What is the first patient patient's right? The first is right to good quality healthcare and humane treatment. Okay? So basically sinasabi lang dyan that all patients are equal and all patients must receive good quality healthcare and humane treatment regardless of their skin color, nationality, religion, okay, age, gender, sex. Okay? So without discrimination and within the limits of the resources, manpower, and competence available for health and medical care. Okay? So each patient must uh, must have their own or must are entitled of care, okay, and dignity, convictions, and integrity. Okay? So, kailangan marespeto yung dignity nila as patient. Okay? Dito, binanggitin yung culture. So, basically, no discrimination. Okay. Then, next, right to dignity. Okay? So, patient's dignity, culture, and value shall be respected at all times in medical care and teaching. Likewise, terminally ill patients shall be entitled to humane terminal care to make dying as dignified and comfortable as possible. Okay. So, uh, when we say humane, sabi makatao. So kahit na yung mga terminally ill, yung mga pasyente na wala nang pag-asang gumaling, okay? Okay, sabi dito they must be given, okay, given uh, humane treatment or humane care. Okay, para yung kanilang pagpanaw ay maging humane and dignified. Okay? So ano ba yung mga ways in order for a patient uh, to be cared for humanely and with dignity? Of course, okay, we must be responsible in uh, taking care of the patient's privacy. Okay? So hindi natin hahayaan na ang pasyente ay open ang gown, okay? Expose ang let's say expose ang certain body parts, ba? That is one way of making our care humane and dignified. And then right to be informed of his rights and obligations as a patient. Okay? So dito minamandato ng batas na dapat ang mga ospital, ang DOH, okay, ay magkakaroon ng programa para ipaalam sa lahat ang mga patient's rights. At sa loob ng ospital, kailangan nakapost ito sa bulletin board, kitang-kita, okay, yung patient's rights and obligations. Okay? Okay? So, katulad nga ng patient care partnership, so pinapaalam ng healthcare provider kung ano yung kanilang mga karapatan at obligasyon sa pamamagitan ng pagbigay ng brochure ng mismong patient care partnership. Okay? So dito karaniwan kasi sa batas natin, Okay, ayan yung law. Then after maipasa yung law maging Republic Act, saka pa lang siya gagawa ng tinatawag na IRR or Implementing Rules and Regulations. And usually doon sa Implementing Rules and Regulations, doon nakalagay kung paano i-implement, ipapatupad ang isang specific na batas. Okay? So let's say, paano yung specific implementation ng right to be informed of patients' rights and obligation. So nakalagay yun sa IRR. Unfortunately, the Senate bill, okay, did not reach the approval. Okay, it did not reach the president. Okay, so right to choose his physician or health institution. Okay. So, of course, may karapatan ang bawat pasyente na pumili ng kanyang doktor. Maliban, okay? So, may exception dito. Maliban na lang kung siya ay mapapapunta sa charity ward. So, nasabi dito sa batas. Okay? So, in case na sa charity ward siya mapapunta, yung consultant, okay? Yung consultant ng particular unit na yun, kung saan siya nakakonfine, okay? Siya yung magiging attending physician niya. Okay. So ano ba yung unit na tinatawag? Let's say charity ward for medical and surgical uh, medical and surgical. So usually yun ay either internist or surgeon. Okay? So kung sino yung consultant na surgeon or kung sino yung consultant na internist, so siya yung attending physician. Okay? Okay. And also, the patient have the right to seek for a second opinion. Okay? Either from another institution or to change his or her physician or hospital. Okay? Then right to inform consent. Okay. So patient has the right to self-determination and to make decisions regarding themselves. Okay? However, the attending physicians shall inform the patient of the consequences of their actions. Okay, so yan na nga papasok yung informed informed consent. Okay? So di ba alam naman natin kung ano nilalaman ng informed consent. But the benefits, the risks, the alternative procedures, okay? Ano pa? The cost, uh, the people that will be involved in the procedure, okay? Yun. So yun yung mga uh, kasama sa informed consent. In addition to preparation and post-after care. Okay? Then, right to refuse diagnostic and medical treatment. Okay. So the patient has the right to refuse diagnostic and, of course, medical procedures. Provided na, okay, may reason, meron siyang condition. Hindi lang siya basta-basta karapatan na umayaw doon sa procedure or treatment. Meron siyang conditions. Ano itong mga conditions na to? Number one, the patient is of legal age and is mentally competent. Okay? Ibig sabihin, nakakapaggawa siya ng sarili niyang decision. Okay? The patient is informed of the medical consequences of his or her refusal. Okay? So, kailangan alam ng pasyente yung possible consequences if hindi siya tutuloy for diagnostic or medical procedure. Then the patient releases those involved in his care from any obligation relative to the consequences of their decision. So anong ibig sabihin nun? Ibig sabihin, kailangan pumirma yung pasyente ng waiver. Okay. Waiver that he is refusing diagnostic procedures or medical treatment. Okay? So, importante yung waiver. At wag na wag kakalimutan yung waiver. Okay? Madalas, sa atin, sa department natin, merong nagwe-waive. Lalo na kung ang ating mga pasyente ay yung mga ah, for annual physical check-up. Okay? Okay, yung iba wine-waive yung either chest x-ray, kasi kaka-chest x-ray lang the other week, so meron na siyang chest x-ray. Kaya pag ganun, you have to secure a waiver na katunayan na nag-refuse for x-ray yung pasyente. And therefore, you will not be held liable in case any consequences, either medical or legal, yung consequences na dumating after uh, the procedure. Okay? Then the patient's refusal will not jeopardize public health and safety. Okay. So kung sa annual physical check-up, okay lang yun. Pero kung ang pasyente ay nag-refuse ng RT-PCR test, kahit na siya ay may uh, symptoms for COVID, now that is not justifiable. Therefore, the patient has no right to refuse diagnostic procedure. Okay? Kailangan or obligation or obligated ang pasyente na mag-perform ng RT-PCR test because the public or the safety and health of the public ang nakasalalay doon sa gagawing diagnostic procedure sa kanya. Okay? Then right to refuse participation in medical research. Okay, so very basic. So the patient, regardless of his or her condition, okay, mapa like ba yung condition niya, terminally ill ba yung pasyente, okay? Okay, regardless of their condition, ay pwedeng mag-participate sa medical research. At the same time, anytime, okay, anytime, pwede rin siyang mag-withdraw from participating in the said medical researches. Okay? And then to right to religious belief and assistance. Okay. So the patient has the right to receive spiritual and moral comfort, including the help of a priest or a minister of their chosen religion. They also have the right to refuse medical treatment or produce or procedure which may be contrary to their religious belief. Of course, subject to the limitation or conditions stipulated earlier. Okay. Kung siya ay pasok doon sa lahat ng conditions, okay? So uh, pwede siyang i-implement. Okay? So example, uh, for some religions, bawal ang blood transfusion. Okay? Diba bawal? So, ang kailangan lang gawin ng physician ay sundin yung nandun sa right to refuse diagnostic and medical treatment. Okay? So, kailangan legal age. Okay? Mentally mentally sound. Then ano pa? Kailangan pipirma ng waiver at inform siya ng consequences. Lahat ng consequences. Okay? At hindi siya makaka-apekto sa public health and safety. Okay. Kung yun naman ay hindi makaka-apekto, so, ayan, it may be granted, okay, by the physician. Okay? Okay, right to privacy and confidentiality. Okay? Okay, so dito naka-specify yung ano ba yung privacy. Okay? So dito privacy includes the patient's right, okay, not to be subjected to exposure, okay, either privately or publicly, either by photography, publications, videotaping, discussion, okay, or any other means that would otherwise tend to reveal his person and identity. Okay. So, ayun. Lately, sa mga vaccination area, medyo nalalabag to. Right to privacy and confidentiality. Nalalabag to, particularly yung mga taong o yung mga PLHIV or persons living with HIV. So yung mga PLHIV, sila ay immunocompromised. So pasok sila dun sa comorbidities. Okay? And kapag sila ay nag-register, syempre ilalagay nila yung kanilang condition kung ano yung comorbidity nila. Okay? So yung iba nilalagay autoimmune disease. Pero yung iba nilalagay na as uh, plainly as HIV. Okay? So sa mga ilang vaccination centers, okay? So yung iba sinisigaw ng vaccinator na, "Uy, may HIV ka pala." Something like that, 'di ba? And ano 'yon? Bukod sa kahit na wala pang batas, okay? That is punishable by another law. Yung HIV law of 2018 yata o 2019. Okay, the RA 11166. Okay, so disclosure of HIV status. So walang karapatan ng ibang tao na mag-disclose ng HIV status ng isang tao kung siya man ay positive or negative. Okay? Mapanong status ng isang tao, bawal siyang i-disclose. Okay? So right to privacy. So okay. So hindi lang 'yan. Okay? So pati nga yung sinabi ko kanina, pati yung exposure ng mga body parts during certain procedures. Okay? So you have to practice giving you humane care. Okay? Siyempre, sino ba naman ang may gusto na nakabuyang-yang ang katawan after, let's say, after operation, di ba? Siyempre, wala. As a healthcare provider, so you should always do things that you want others do to you kapag ikaw yung nandun sa situation na gano'n. Okay? Okay, so confidential information can be disclosed in the following cases. Pero again, meron na naman exception. Okay? So when the patient's medical or physical condition is in controversy in a court of litigation, and the court, in its discretion, orders the patient to submit to physical or mental examination of a physician. Okay? So, korte lang ang may karapatan na mag-disclose ng any confidential information. Okay? Okay, next. Hindi kailangan ng korte or ng court's order kapag ang affected na ay public health and safety. Okay? Katulad nitong COVID-19. Okay? So, nung mga unang part, di ba, nilalabas kung saan nakatira yung mga nag-positive sa COVID, etc. Ano yung mga biographics nila. Okay? So, according to this, okay, walang nilalabag na batas yung pag-disclose ng, let's say, age, okay, taga saan or address, okay, hindi naman pinangalanan walang names involved. So, they are not uh, not in violation of any law. Then third, when the patient or in his incapacity, their legal representative expresses expressly give consent. So, ayun na yung um, surrogate, ano nga yun? Surrogate representative or legal guardian or representative uh, appointed by the court of law. Okay? Yung mga valid na uh, na alternative to give the consent. Then when the patient's medical or surgical condition is discussed in a medical or scientific forum for expert discussion. Okay? For their benefit or for the advancement of science and medicine, provided that the identity of the patient should not be revealed. Okay. So pwede siyang yung condition, yung mga medical and surgical conditions ng pasyente or mga procedures na ginawa, okay, and any history regarding the patient's illness ay pwedeng uh, i-discuss, okay, i-lecture sa isang scientific forum, okay? Yun nga lang, provided that the patient's identity, okay, should remain private and confidential. Okay. Or when it is otherwise required by law. So yun nga, kung may order ang korte. Okay? So next is right to disclosure of and access to information. So, ayun, information, okay? So let's say may pagbabago sa progression ng disease ng pasyente. So karapatan ng pasyente na malaman kung merong malaking pagbabago or karapatan ng pasyente malaman kung effective ba yung naging treatment sa kanya o hindi. Okay? At pwede rin itong i-disclose sa ibang tao basta may written consent ang pasyente. Okay? The next, right to correspondence and to receive visitors. Okay, so syempre, may karapatan ng pasyente to communicate with their relatives, okay, their friends, and to receive them as visitors sa hospital. Okay? Syempre, meron siyang kailangan i-follow na certain rules and regulation na pinapatupad ng isang healthcare institution. Example na lang dito yung time ng visitation. Okay? So, syempre may limit yon, lalo na kung ikaw ay magbibisit, ang pasyente mo ay nasa ward at wala sa private room. Kahit sa private room, ganoon din, may certain time lang na pwede kang bumisita. Okay? Ano lang yung pwede mong dalhin? Sino yung pwede mo isama? Of course, bawal ka magsama ng children, ay ng bata sa loob ng hospital. Okay, so, depending on the rules and regulation of the hospital. Okay, right to medical records, of course. So the patient has the right to ask for medical records. Okay? Right to have a copy of all information regarding his stay in the hospital. Okay? Also, he is entitled to a medical certificate and clinical abstract. Okay? Okay, may exception na naman. For psychiatric notes and other incriminating information obtained about a third party. Okay. So, hindi yung mga rights hindi absolute. There are some rights that have exceptions. Okay? Then right to health education. Okay, so karapatan ng mga pasyente that before they go home, okay, they will be educated regarding on their condition, what to do after they are discharged, okay, ano yung dapat gawin or kailan babalik sa check-up, etc. Okay? So yan yung right to health education. Okay? Then, right to live against medical advice. Okay? So, ano ba tong against medical advice? So, biglang tumakas ang pasyente sa ospital nang lumabas na lang, nag-discharge nang walang pahintulot ang kanyang attending physician. Okay? Or walang recommendation ng kanyang attending physician. Okay. So, may karapatan ang pasyente for that. Okay. So, again, may conditions na naman. Okay. So, kailangan inform ng consequences. Medical consequences. Okay. Then, kailangan niyang pumirma ng waiver. Waiver na nagsasabi na the patient is discharged or choose to live against medical care. Okay? Then, syempre, kailangan the decision will not be prejudice to public health and safety. Okay, so, again, yung condition na yan, katulad pa rin dun sa mga naunang conditions. And kailangan yan na masunod. Okay, ma-apply yan dapat. Okay, next is right to express grievances. Okay, so every patient has the right to express valid complaints. Kung may reklamo ang pasyente regarding sa services, karapatan niya ito na ilapit sa kinauukulan. Okay? So in accordance with Section 7 to 8 of this bill. So pag binasa mo yung bill, hanapin mo yung Section 7 and 8. So regarding siya sa grievances. Okay? So yan yung mga patients' right na nandun sa Magnacarta. Okay. Hindi ko na isinama dyan yung societal rights and yung obligation din, okay, hindi ko na rin sinama. So, I am expecting na makita ko yun dun sa inyong assignment. Okay? Yung obligations. Okay? As for that, hindi pa ako nag-umpisa magbasa. Natambakan na nga ako ng checkan pero okay lang. Kailangan magsumikap. Okay? So yun, may question ba so far? May question? Silent committee? Okay, so quiz tayo on Saturday. Quiz tayo on Saturday. Okay, kung anong oras man kayo matapos sa hospital. Either 3 o'clock or 3:30. Okay? So, kung wala na, okay, so checkan ko yung assignment nyo later. So, kung wala na kayong question,